Oh, now you're recording. Okay. Anyway. David Kim.
Hey,
Everybody, what up, Street Tugs?
This is who?
This is Ryan Cabal and David Kim.
What's up?
The interview's going to be on David Kim. So.
Done by Eric Kim.
Alright, so David, introduce yourself to the internet.
My name's David Kim. I'm a photographer out here in South Korea, and I shoot mostly with film and do some digital work as well.
So David, tell us, you just recently had a film photography workshop over at Sicheong in Korea. Tell us about why you decided to teach a workshop, and what did you try to get out of it?
Okay. I taught this film workshop mostly because I really love film. So film is, I think people say it's a medium going out, and in a way it is, but I still think it's gonna be here much longer than what people realize. There's a quality to it. There's like a feeling to it that I still think that digital still can't quite match as well. I mean, it's also partly like the whole process, like being able to take a roll, develop it, make prints from it. It's something that that's the whole experience that digital wouldn't be able to emulate. So I did this experience because I want more people to be able to realize that, hey, there's something very different out there. It might be because lately it seems like not a lot of people that I've known have been really happy about their digital work, and they want to also get to learn a lot more about film. So there's a lot of misinformation out there about how to shoot it, what it is, and I was like, I want to clear all of that up, let them know everything that I know,
So tell us a little bit about some common maybe misconceptions or myths about film.
Okay, so what people allow to do with film is you need to, they often say that you need to overexpose film, which is a really common misconception, because what they're actually doing is rating their film. They're finding their EI, the exposure index. So for me, I'll rate all films typically are not a true ISO 400, Tri-X 400 is not, its real ISO isn't shouldn't be really shot at 400 speed. You're gonna rate it a bit lower because of different characteristics from the way the light meters, the light meter inside your camera might work, to how you meter. What are you thinking? What are you measuring when you're metering? And what most people have found is about a stop or two is where it kind of matches up with how they meter and gets them to that nice results that they really like. Mm-hmm. So same goes for most black and white films and color films as well. Another misconception is about pushing film. They think that it's like digital, where if you just set it to ISO 1600, shoot at 1600, it's gonna look like 1600. And that's not really the case, because that film, you can't physically change the film speed. All you're doing is when you're developing, you're extending the time, you're letting those light crystals get bigger, which is why it gets more contrastier and a lot grainier. And once something is black, it stays black. Development doesn't make the blacks become lighter or more white. Those are really the two biggest misconceptions that I think are out there about shooting film. Yeah.
So talk a little bit about your background with photography. Is this something that you just kind of stumbled upon, or is it something you've always had a lifelong interest?
It's always really been a lifelong interest. Most of my life I was a musician. I played the cello for many, many years, and I stopped when I went to university. And so I suddenly decided I'm going to do finance and accounting. By the end of my senior year, it's finance and accounting, right? By the end of my senior year, I was thinking, I'm gonna go nuts if I don't do something creative again. Yeah. So I was in Minneapolis. I walked downtown to one of the stores there. I just saw that they had this black Nikon with a 50. I was like, I'll take that, And at this time, this was still around the crux of the digital age. The D200, the Nikon D200 was the hottest
thing. So what year maybe?
Oh man, it was 02, 03.
02,
yeah.
03, okay.
And so I was like, well, let's learn from the basics. So I started with film cameras, and it's gone on since then.
And so you're originally from the States.
Yeah, yeah.
And what brought you out? And tell us, where you grew up and how you made it all the way out here to Korea. How long you been here? And
I was
stuff
actually
like
born in Korea. I moved when I was pretty young, about 4 or 5, and then I grew up mostly around Wisconsin. So
Oh,
Packers,
yeah.
Packers.
Cheese.
Beer and cheese, right?
Yeah.
But after graduating from university, I was doing a lot of consulting work. So I did that for a year, and then I think that's around 2008. Economy hits a tank, first people to go out of consultants. So they're like,
yeah.
David, you can like move into a different role, or you can take this severance package. I was like, I'm gonna take the severance package.
Good
So
call.
I did that. I moved. Just kind of took photos for a year, hung out, and then I'm thinking, I need to leave America. There's nothing here for me. So found a job in Korea, hopped over, and just started shooting a lot more here. Got even more involved. This is where I learned how, from really great darkroom teacher in Chungro, like how to do my prints and learn all that information about film as well.
So, just describe this the art of not only just developing your film but actually printing your film. So what are there's a lot of people out there who haven't actually printed their film in that mysterious darkroom. Describe the process for us.
So I mean, it's like creation, It's like it really is. It's like I think it's like
I have made life.
It's like you made a baby. No, actually, no, it's not like that. It's much painless. But I still remember like the first role I developed by myself. I'm pouring these chemicals and I was like, I feel like a crazy chemist,
yeah.
shaking it around. Don't shake it like this, but not like a cocktail. But like doing my inversions, and then I pull it out and it's just like wow, like what was like I didn't see before has suddenly it's just there, Let it dry out and then start making contact prints and learning how to do that, finding my black points. And the first time I made my contact sheet, I had no idea what to expect. I just knew that, all right, I'm in the dark, I got this red light, I gotta kind of like lay out where it's gonna be, push the button, and you push the button, it's like 15 seconds. It's like, for me, it took about 15 seconds at like, it's weird. Darkrooms have apertures as well, and like I guess shutters. And like how long you expose the paper for. So I did that, and it's still blank, You look on the red light, there's nothing there. But once you put it in the developer, all of a sudden it's like a whoosh, and you just see it like coming to life. It's like it's there, and it's like you're just like, holy crap! Like I just made something here, and it's so much better because it literally is like a whoosh and how it comes out. And like, well, if you print from like a digital printer at home, you're just like, when's it coming out?
Yeah.
Or like you've got like a fancy laser printer, boom, like that,
Yeah.
But it's like, you become, I don't know, I think it makes you a better photographer for a few reasons. Like, making a print will take you about, I don't know, around 15 minutes to like get like a solid print that you're happy with. Because you're gonna like, first find out, what should be my proper settings for this, play around with it. Oh, I need to dodge or burn this area. And then you'll start making it, and before you know, you just on just one image you spent like 15 minutes. Now, working wise, it's like you don't want to print every single image on your roll, so you gotta be a lot more selective. It teaches you to become a better editor, which I think is really a skill that a lot of photographers, especially in the digital age, have a hard time with. Like even still, I have a hard time like with editing. It's like I look at it like, I love this. Why does no one else understand why it's so great, It's like, it's a cat. Who doesn't love cats?
Who hates cats? I hate cats.
Yeah, but in all seriousness, it's like having that, like, it's not really pressure, but like bigger, more impactful decision making, I think is really important for like photographers to experience and get better at as well.
So talking about editing, how do you edit a photo? What goes on in your mind, and how long do you wait before you make your final decisions, or how do you get other people to collaborate?
I mean, it really depends. I don't like to look at my images for a bit. Like I found that too often, like if I look at my images almost right away, like same day of shooting, and then like I'll think it's like, oh, this is the greatest thing in the world, and then 1 week later, I was like, what was wrong with me, And so a good way to do is like kind of let that stew for a bit, you know, like just like I think it's really important to have that time because like you click a frame and in film like you obviously can't see it right away, you don't open it, but it's like you like the motion you feel at the moment doesn't necessarily translate into the image. So what I like to do is like, will I still have that feeling when I look at it, you know, a few days later, a month later, whatever. So I usually wait, you know,
So generally
about a week,
like at
about
least a week.
yeah, at least a week before I look at it again. I'm like, okay, that was not so great. I don't know what happened there. I was like, oh, this is actually turned out a lot better than I was expecting, and that's kind of the beauty of it with film. But I mean, even with digital, I sometimes do that. Like I'll have a card and I'll just toss it aside for a week. It's like, all right, I'm not touching you for a bit.
Yeah.
And I come back to it, and it helps. It helps
So
to just sit on it for a while.
So you're quite active in a lot of the street photography groups and the photography groups here in Seoul. So tell us a little bit about some past events you've organized and or some other stuff you want to do more moving forward.
Well, I mean, there's no real formal street photography group in Korea. Like I help run the Flickr and Seoul group. We try to do meetups every 2 weeks. Been really bad about that lately. I promise we'll get it going. But that's very casual. We hang out, meet new photographers. Of like some people love doing landscapes. Others shoot events. People shoot for magazines around here. We just get together, hang out. Go shoot at some random location. Literally just pick it out of the hat almost, and grab dinner and maybe some drinks afterwards. Another club, I think that's really the only group that really meets up solidly. But from that group, I've met a lot of friends who have like similar photographic interests, life interests, and we hang out all the time. We just call each other up. Hey, let's grab a drink here. Let's meet up in Gangnam, things like that. And that they've been really influential as well in like helping me develop my style. Being great people to help me edit and critique. Like when I was making my street photography exhibition a year ago, it's like the first people I talked to were them. Like here are my images, here are my prints. I had about 25 images I was working with, and I had to cut that down significantly to I think about 11. So some of them I felt were strong. At the same time, they were like, no, like these are my reasons why I don't feel it's so strong, and I really trust them. I've seen their work, great work. They understand my work as well and what I was trying to do. So it's good to like really have that resource. I don't think it really matters what genre of photography you necessarily shoot, because we all shoot very different types. We're interested in very different types of photography. But as long as you have like a community of photographers, I think that's fantastic. Like a landscape guy might see something that a street guy doesn't see.
That's true.
Even a wedding guy, like some of the guys I look for inspiration on the internet, it's like our wedding photographers. I'm like, wow, that's beautiful. You know? And other people are like, what are you doing? It's just a wedding. I was like, I'm not a fan of shooting weddings personally, but like if I find a wedding really interesting, then I'll take the job. But I think they do great work. That industry is going through a pretty interesting film renaissance as well. But overall, I think that photographers need to, they should meet other types of photographers, be open to their opinions, meet other artists. Like my friends out here are also like animators, musicians. They do all sorts of crazy things, and it's good because like when they look at an image, they can give me their opinion. Like even on Facebook, I load something out, I think, oh, no one's gonna like this, and they're like, oh, this is the greatest thing like since sliced bread. Well, they don't say that; they're not that nice, but.
All right, so last two questions. So, first question, like what are some like guiding principles or advice you would give to street photographers, maybe just trying to find their own style, who need help with editing, starting off with film, anything like that?
Okay. Start off with film. It's like I guess we'll kind of go backwards. Let's see. You can just start shooting. There's a lot of great resources online. You just like great Flickr groups, and a lot of people are really open to like answering your questions. Even Reddit, like Reddit.com has a pretty strong photographic community. And then they're pretty good at, well, I don't know about critiques, because a lot of cat photos do get through there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's for that, just the most important thing there is to really keep shooting. That kind of goes for like style as well. Find out what are your interests and kind of try to maybe line them up photographically as well. Keep shooting, keep getting better, and keep looking at other work. Like look at other photographers from the past, see what they've done. There's a lot of great books out there, and also see like painters, like what have these artists done, like from back to like no names are blanking on my head, but for me, like Van Gogh is one of my favorite artists, and so I look at his work for inspiration. I look through like random magazines and spreads for inspiration as well. Like it's kind of strange. I mean, I remember when I was in the States, I would sit at Barnes and Nobles with a stack of magazines. Like here's like Vogue, here's like the wedding bridals, and like all these women are around me. Like, what is this guy doing? Like looking at these songs. Yeah, it was a little awkward, but find inspiration everywhere. Like even like my barista, like she makes like little designs in her coffee. And I think that's fantastic. But like it's like that's what she kind of loves. She keeps doing it, and I think that's really relevant for photography as well. Finding your style, you just keep doing it until it feels comfortable. You know what you like, and be open to like changing things up as well. In terms of editing, what reminds me of is Robert Frank's work, The Americans. I was like, he shot 80,000 photos and had to nail it down to 80, maybe. That's an incredible editing skill, and just talk to friends. Like you can't always trust yourself. So like be like, what do you think about this? Okay, let's put this back together. Let it sit for a bit. And then. What I say, a good rule is try to cut it down to maybe, let's say you take 100 photos, like try to pick the 10 that can tell a story. So usually the 10% rule is pretty good. And if you're gonna like throw up a post, try to limit it to maybe like at most 40 images. If you took 1,000 photos, try to find the best 40. Took 100, maybe best 10. Just really cut it down. Set limits for you. Like for me, the absolute maximum images I try to, I guess, work with when I deal with clients and stuff. It's never really. It's about 10%. Like ideally, I want them to look at 40 images and be able to like understand it, get it, be happy with it right away. I mean, it's not always the same for every type of job. Like wedding photographers, obviously, well, some of them will have more, but even in that industry, if you give them like 1,000 images, they're gonna be like, what am I doing with this, right? What am I gonna do? They have no idea what to do with it. And so that's kind of like responsibility of the photographer as well. Become better editors. And I'm kind of rambling.
So last people you'd like to give shout outs to?
Shout outs, I guess. My buddies here. Ryan, thanks for the beatboxing.
Yeah.
Trevor. My friends Neil, Scott, Youngdo. All the photographers, all the friends I've met here. So.
All right, cool. All right, thanks a lot, David. And where can people find your work?
They can find it at davidkimphoto.com. I have a blog and I'm really updated, but maybe I will.
Yeah, we'll pull them from the blog. All right, thanks.
All
David.
right.
All right, peace out.
See you later.